For those in the Americas, a very good morning. My name is Peter Post. I'm the Chief Representative in Los Angeles. And together with my colleagues in Mexico, Argentina, and Texas, we're doing the second dialogue. It's great to see a lot of people that already were in the first dialogues. And people are streaming in now. So we thought that those people that are right on time, they are lucky because they actually have the chance to win a free lunch, because we built a small quiz. And that small quiz will be showmastered by my colleague Steven. So have a bit of fun in these first few minutes, and who knows, you're going to be the lucky winner. Steven, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Peter. All right, for the early birds, we prepared a little bit of a quiz to see how much you already know of the Americas. And basically we will do, I won't read all the questions. There are 4 questions present. But what we will do with all the people that came on time and that won the free lunch in Mexico, USA, or Argentina, they can answer the questions in the following way. You can give the answer. On the left, there's the combinations of the questions that you see on the right. And one of the combinations is right. Yeah. So there's 4 questions, and the one person who sends in the chat to everybody the first correct combination will get the free lunch. Check the questions. So the biggest importer of Mexican avocados, Netherlands, is number what? Cordoba, what does they import? What's the state mammal? And how many Dutch companies are in LA? So I'm already receiving chats. At the end of the meeting, at the end of the webinar, we will present the winner. Peter, I think we can go on to the next ones and let's see who wins.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Steven. At the end of this dialogue, we will give you the answer, that lucky person that gets a free lunch when they are here. It's great to see so many of you again. As I said, it's the second time we're doing this dialogue. And just because there are some new people, I want to make sure that everybody has a good expectation of what to expect. The first part of this dialogue is more presentation. We're going to talk about pitfalls in the Americas. We'll come back to that later. Then we have breakouts, and we learned from the previous dialogue that 15 minutes is far too less. So we made them 20 minutes. So we have more time with you in the interaction. And at the end, there's a little wrap up, and we just promise you that anything that you felt like is missing, we will follow up on. And for your information, the first dialogue, we had 20 individual follow-ups. So we really want to make sure that you're satisfied and you get what you wanted out of this webinar. And you see there another new feature, the fireside chat. It's grace because it's optional. If you feel at the very end, when this web dialogue is officially closed, that you still want to hang out with us, ask some questions, or feel like just seeing what others have to say, just hang on and relax at the end. We'll come back to that later as well. So let's move on. I'm not going to extensively talk about Netherlands Business Support Offices because that will be boring for those fan base of us that are here again. But for those new people, NBSOs are Netherlands Business Support Offices. We have 22 offices in the world in 11 countries. They are operated by the RVO in the Netherlands, and we are part of the Dutch Economic Network, also here in the Americas. And if we zoom in on the Americas, you will see more clearly where we are located. We have 6 NBSOs. 4 of them are joining this webinar, this dialogue, and Brazil, for very, well, maybe known reasons, has some other priorities at the moment, so they couldn't join this time, but they might be joining next time. Yeah, and to explain a little bit more about what we can do for you. Well, this is actually the team. Every office has two people, the chief representative and the deputy representative. They're equally important. You will get to know them later on in the breakouts. And to show you what we can do, we just made one slide that is also helpful for the pitfalls we're going to talk about later. That we have a lot in store to help you out, which is presented here very briefly. We are here to promote the Netherlands. We are here to get some information or knowledge. We do studies. We help you to get into touch with the right context. And if you come visit us, we can even provide local support, or even for groups that are coming here. So very quickly an overview. Well, and then let's move on. Let's talk about when you might need these tools. Let's talk about the pitfalls. And I mean, we are very aware that, first of all, in this little time that we have, but secondly, also for those that are very experienced, that a lot of these pitfalls are very cliche, but we wouldn't mention them if they didn't happen anymore. So these pitfalls are also based on what we see in the field. So there are a little bit of open doors, but let's go through them. We made a nice top 7, and I can promise you we could easily make dozens of pitfalls per region, but we only made a small selection. And I will start off with the first one. And this is focus. What we see happening a lot of times is that those entrepreneurs that have, let's say, very innovative solutions or really get the taste of international business, they want to do everything at the same time. And the world is the market, and that is true. But to give an example, just 2 weeks ago, there was a nice Dutch firm. They had 4 employees. They had not more than 1 million turnover, and they wanted to explore if they could do business in Scandinavia, Australia, and the United States at the same time. Well, of course, we looked into it, but also what people didn't realize is that the United States is like a continent. It's like saying, like, I want to do business in Europe, and then California is the 5th largest economy in the world, and then LA is bigger than the Netherlands. I mentioned that in the previous dialogue, but what we really want to go to is like, it's not just a market you do on the side. Actually, international business is not something you just do on the side. You really have to focus, and your probability of being successful is really when you try first do 1, 2, maybe 3 markets, and then go on to the next one. Well, I can continue to talk about this one for a long time, but let's move on to some other pitfalls. And the next ones are coming from Argentina, which will be presented to you by my dear colleague, Bastiaan. Bastiaan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Peter, and hello to everyone. Well, in doing business, it's very important to know who really makes the decisions. And that is especially the case with family businesses. In Argentina, 85% of the companies are family-run businesses. So it's quite normal that, for example, you're doing a negotiation with the company, you get to a deal, the CEO is really excited, but then the following weeks, nothing happens. Even it's take 2 months or a little bit more. And then, well, what turns out, the CEO is the 2nd generation, the son who has succeeded his father, who was the founder of the company. And the father wasn't really convinced about the new technology to be introduced. So until the father, who is the general with his boots on still, is not convinced, it won't go through. So therefore, it's really important to get to know the company, to get to know the family, and to know who really takes the decisions. Okay, let's go to the next pitfall. America is really a large continent, and Argentina is located all down south. This means we are in the southern hemisphere. So for Christmas, we eat in shorts next to the swimming pool with probably 30 degrees Celsius. It also means that in January and February, it's summer holidays. The schools are starting back in March. So if you plan traveling to January and February, really take this into account. You might be meeting the manager you're negotiating with, or the owner, but don't expect to find the entire management team. Also, take into account that Argentina has a lot of bank holidays, 15 in total, and some even take 2 days. So before traveling, don't mind to give us a call, and we'll also help you with your agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bastiaan. And I see we do have some competition with Argentina if we talk about holidays. Let's move on the next one. This is also a very common pitfall, and that one will be presented to you by Steven.
Hi, good afternoon to everybody. So yeah, Mexico, one of the pitfalls is one email is not enough. Maybe you know that Mexico is the country of relationships. An important saying they say here is that it is better to have 1 million contacts than 1 million pesos. So it's very important to build a relationship with your Mexican contact, and physical meetings are the key there. So Mexicans don't tend to reply really on emails if they don't know you. When you do have a relationship with your client or with your agent or whatever, it is much easier to do business through email. although at the same time, Mexicans tend to see that a visit every now and then is very beneficial for the relationship. So to conclude, it's not really successful basically to send emails starting from Holland. Try to get to know them, try to see them, and then start doing business on the computer. The next one is about language speaking. So most of the Mexicans, and this probably is also for Argentina, they do speak English, but they highly appreciate if you put in an effort to speak Spanish with them. Some words will already break the ice. So when a Mexican do speaks English with you, they most of the time want to show to you that they speak the language because they studied and it's proud people. So they want to show you, well, basically that they speak English. But it's very important that you always try to ask a second question, because sometimes they say yes, but they didn't really understood the first question, because a cultural thing in Mexico is to say yes on everything. So try to see if you can ask a second question on the same subject to see if they really understood the question and they really speak English as they suppose they are saying. These are basically the pitfalls in Mexico. Well, one of many, but most important ones to discuss here.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And well, in line with language, there is also a culture, and that's something Saskia would like to talk about in the Texan context. Saskia, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Peter. Welcome back and welcome everybody. I want to tell something about the pitfalls in Texas, and it's not only Texas, it's the US. What we notice is that a lot of people think the US and the Netherlands are the same. We see the US on television every day, so we think we know it, but it's pretty different. When you look at culture, when you look at the metric system, the language, the money, a lot of things are different. And also, yeah, as the Dutch, we think with our Dutch directness, we can do every business the way we are used to in the Netherlands. Well, it's not. You have to adjust to the American culture, and you have to be aware that there is a difference between the US and the Netherlands. And I think it's good to find out. And that's also what my second pitfall is about. The second pitfall is we think we can be successful from the Netherlands. Because when a company is successful in the Netherlands, they think, okay, we can do business from here through the rest of the world. I think that's really a big pitfall because the American people want to get to know you. Stephen was already mentioning something like that, and also Bastiaan mentioned something. It's very important to have your feet on the ground here in Texas because they want to know you, they want to know your product, and they want to make sure that you're not here just for a small visit and then leave again. So if you want to do business in Texas, be aware that or you have to move yourself or one of your employees, or you have to find an agent or a distributor, and then you can start being successful here in Texas. So we're here to help you. So if you want to do business, call the NBSO. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Saskia. Well, as I mentioned before, this is just a very brief overview, and you might feel like, hey, this is recognizable. You might feel that you fell in other pitfalls, or want to help your entrepreneurs each other in avoiding these pitfalls. That's what the breakouts are all about. It's the same principle like last time. We made 4 breakout rooms, as you can see on the screen, of course, the different offices. We're going to move in that quickly. We're right on time, so that's great, which means we have most of the time with you here. What's going to happen is you have to click a button and go to your first a breakout room, and then when you're there, we will get like a 2 minutes notice before the end of the first breakout, and then you automatically will be swapped to the other breakout room. So you only have to click a button and you will go to the next one. So there you will meet your colleagues in the different locations. We will be in Los Angeles just for you, and it will be mentioned again. Please keep your answers and questions concise, respect the others in the room, and we would like to hear as much feedback from everybody so that we can have a good dialogue. So that's everything for now. I wish you a lot of fun in the breakout rooms. I see you soon there. And afterwards, we have a small wrap up. So then we're all going to be together again in this meeting. So now I'm going to give the cue to my colleague René, and then you will soon go to the breakout session. Welcome back, everybody. We had some great times. In the first breakout, we just accidentally forgot the time and were switched to the other one. And in the second one, luckily, we saw it coming, but it was some great talks and knowledge sharing. I hope you felt the same in the different rooms. I haven't seen Texas, Mexico, and Argentina, but I'm sure with my colleagues over there, it was amazing. So we are really at the end of the formal dialogue, the second one, 2 down, I would say, only 1 to go. The second, or the last one, the third one is on the 7th of July. And what we're gonna do is give you a status update on the situation after or during COVID. In some places, we see that things are going back to regular. In some cases, we also see that it might even get into a second wave. We don't know yet, so we're gonna try to give you an accurate as possible update on that, on the next one. And we hope to see you again, and also with some new people like this second dialogue. And as said, we will make sure that anything with some people, we're gonna definitely already follow up. On the next slide, you will see our information if you want to reach out to us. We're only 1 call or 1 email away. And digitally, there is a time zone difference, but it's very easy for us to follow up with you. So once again, I really appreciate it. We are very grateful that you joined this second dialogue. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope to see you again.